New images from NASA show the foundation of a pyramid-like structure on Mars. It's incredible how many suspicious structures we can see in these and other images. Even Elon Musk believes that we need to send astronauts to Mars right away to investigate the disputed findings. Will we then come across the first real traces of an ancient civilization on Mars? A mysterious image from Mars is causing a stir again. Between 1996 and 2006, NASA's Mars Global Surveyor spacecraft sent more than 200,000 images to Earth. Among them are some explosive shots. One of the images shows a square formation reminiscent of the foundation of a building. Anyone who has ever been to an ancient city of the Romans, Greeks, or other lost civilizations is familiar with such structures. On Mars, formations such as this look like a miracle because Mars is supposedly a barren desert planet and completely unsuitable for life. Scientists at Arizona State University measured the structure exactly, and computer programs then calculated the probability of a natural structure. Nature can create similar formations, and algorithms are designed to determine whether the origin of this structure is natural or artificial. Structures created by living things usually show a striking abundance of right angles and exact measurements, while nature is more chaotic. Astrologers also look at each and every rock in the area surrounding the base of the formation. Based on this data, scientists then want to recreate the situations that created the formation. There is a heated debate on the internet as to whether NASA would withhold the results from us if it were to be proven that a life form was frequently present at work here. Photos from Mars reach us that cause a stir. Images of Mars were prevalent in the 1970s, such as the face or the pointed Mars pyramids that sparked heated discussions. The claims of a few ufologists who absolutely believe that there is still life on Mars have been repeatedly refuted by NASA. But to this day, new images keep appearing that make us believe that things are taking place on the red planet. With regard to the latest photos of the Martian pyramid, even Elon Musk, the founder of SpaceX, has now joined the discussion. The man who wants to colonize Mars publicly stated, "We should send men and women to Mars to investigate." Although Musk is pushing ahead with his plans to send humans to Mars on a daily basis, it will be years before humans set foot on Mars for the first time. Until then, we can only study the organic structures discovered far away on Mars. Did you know how many organic or technically looking structures scientists and amateur astronomers have found on Mars? Images like these often don't make it into the popular media. They are made available on NASA websites, but by and large, they are only discussed by scientists. One might get the impression that NASA is annoyed by all the discussions about aliens and UFOs on Mars. Some argue with scientific claims of incompetence, agitation, and fear-mongering, while others say that ordinary people also have a right to know what is really happening on Mars. Look at these photos. Do you also immediately think of a UFO buried in the structure? It really looks suspicious, but they are of natural origin. These forms that resemble polished metal are actually frozen Martian dunes. On Mars, dunes are not made of fine quartz sand like they are here on Earth, but often of basalt volcanic dust that is strangely shaped by the thin Martian atmosphere. Extreme temperature changes, caused by the wind and the influence of frozen carbon dioxide, create dry ice, which forms bizarre smooth structures that look like artificial metal. The fact that we see a UFO here is attributed by scientists to an effect known as pareidolia. The brain tends to see familiar images in random formations. The Martian face and other structures on Mars have been explained in this way. The Martian face was actually debunked in 2001. Images from the Mars Global Surveyor probe showed the formation in considerably more resolution than the original Viking pictures from the 1970s. While the face appeared impressively human in the previous pictures due to light and shadow effects, the new images showed a naturally occurring hill structure. Without distinguishable features, the supposed eyes, mouth, and nose were nothing more than the result of shadows and the negative image quality at the time. The DNM pyramid, made by aliens? In the 1980s, former NASA consultant Richard C. Hoagland claimed that a structure in the Cydonia region clearly carried technological hallmarks. Hoagland measured the so-called D&M pyramid and found golden sections, right mathematical ratios, and triangles, as well as pi. Again, the Mars face was involved. Because of how far apart the faces are, and the fact that the D&M pyramid showed similar anomalies to the arrangement of the pyramids of Giza, according to Hoagland, the exact distances and the accumulation of peculiarities in mathematics could not be a coincidence. Hoagland postulated that the extraordinary shape of a pentagon could point to an undiscovered extraterrestrial civilization. This was far from certain in the 1980s. It seemed even more amazing than it does now. At that time, not nearly as many images of Mars were available. We have since sent dozens of probes and rovers to Mars and supposedly found no real organic structures, without any actual signs of life, only pareidolia. In the 80s, the mystery surrounding Mars was even greater. People were partially afraid of Martians, and the rumors that our planetary neighbor was, or at least once was, inhabited did not subside. There were books that claimed that the arrangement in the Cydonia landscape was even a coded message. With the high-resolution images of the Mars Global Surveyor and the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, many of these hypotheses were debunked. Simultaneously, however, another finding emerged, fueling discussions again. Researchers found that Mars probably still had a thin atmosphere several 100 million years ago. Simulations showed an Earth-like Mars with weather, water, oceans, and possibly vegetation. Scientists could not rule out the possibility of habitation on Mars by living creatures at that time. Unfortunately, it's impossible to prove that there were humanoids or animals after so many years. If we do have excavations on Mars one day, scientists could demonstrate whether traces of life are hidden beneath the Martian sand surface. The relics of our dinosaurs are usually buried several meters deep in sand and soil more than 60 million years after their disappearance. So, on Mars, we would have to dig to a similar depth to find traces of past life forms. What really happened to Mars? Let's beam ourselves back to a time when Mars was still a young planet and possibly resembled Earth. For a billion years ago, Mars probably still had a dense atmosphere due to its magnetic core. It has since been proven several times that there was water on Mars. Mars stores so much frozen water at its poles and in deeper layers that it could right now fill oceans similar to Earth's. Although experts do not describe its proximity to the Sun as ideal for the emergence of life, it is not impossible. Mars lies in the outer region of the so-called habitable zone. Despite being colder and darker than Earth, we know from our own planet that life can adapt to extreme conditions. We find bizarre life forms at the icy poles and in the darkest, coldest caves where sunlight never shines. Over the course of millions of years, Mars moved in a different direction from Earth. While our planet retained its atmosphere and thus the perfect magnetic shield against cosmic winds, Mars lost its magnetic field. Without the protective cover, the solar wind was able to slowly destroy Mars' atmosphere. With it, most of the water disappeared, either into space or into frozen reservoirs below the surface. If there was any life, it died out in the course of these upheavals. It's highly likely that our Earth will also experience desertification similar to that of Mars in the future. As temperatures rise, life forms such as reptiles, dry plants, and snakes will dominate. Perhaps humans will also survive in some form if they manage to adapt to the increasingly violent conditions. Today, nearly all of Mars is a hostile, dry desert. Violent winds blow storms around the entire planet. The swirling sand causes incredible erosion. Even Elon Musk fears these winds. Future Martian explorers and settlers would most likely have to live in homes built underground. Despite all the challenges, Mars remains the most Earth-like planet in the solar system. For this reason, Elon Musk and NASA have set their sights on it first. No one yet knows whether humans can truly survive off Earth. Whether this adventure will succeed remains uncertain.